back to the blank board. The opening all ahead of us. I'm sorry that that last lesson was a little long, but it needed to be to get you guys to really focus in on how key that slim line is in between the opening and the wild, wild west that is the middle game. Because one small mistake and you could have a grizzly bear trying to chew you alive. So another thing that you guys really need to take care of is if you miss that big versus little difference, and Vadim has some great videos on why big moves are more important than large points on the board, because the big moves are actually the largest point on the board. Those important points, those living to or dying points are really important. If you miss those, you could become attacked. And if you're attacked, it's the middle game. And if you were having a great opening and all of a sudden, the middle game pops up and you're like, ah, crap, I had things going for me. Things were going so well. That's gonna be irritating. On the other hand, it could be you. If your opponent makes that mistake and misses what a big versus a small versus an important versus a not important point is, you could be the one attacking. You could be the one taking it to him. And that would be a golden opportunity. So let's take a look at how a professional does it. And not just any professional. We're going to be looking at a game by Kato Masao, which, if you haven't heard the name, I suggest you look him up. He's a very, very powerful attacking player. And when he was in his prime, there was nobody who could get away from him. He would just attack, 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 attack. And he just was able to kill large groups of stones in such amazing ways. But today we're going to take a look at one of his favorite openings, which is the Chinese opening. There is some argument about whether it should be called the Chinese opening or not, but that's neither here nor there. Let's take a look at a game and see how the master of attack does it. This is going to be 2004. It's the 31st Tengen, round 1. Kato is black and his opponent is Yuki Satoshi, who will be white. It's going to be kind of a classic style game, even though it's not a classic game. So let's take a look at it. So already by move 6, this looks pretty interesting from our super modern perspective. 20 years on, this is probably not something we're going to see so often. The reason that white approaches from the outside is the whole point of this opening position, called the low Chinese, is that if white enters, he's already pincered and black is going to attack him. He's going to either kick or he's going to, oops, sorry about that. He's going to play on top, something like this to force white out into the center, and black will have the advantage because he already has 3 stones on this side of the board. And so black can use that to his advantage to create a middle game scenario that will absolutely favor him. And Kato Masao did this so well that people had to think of a counter. And the counter was to play on the outside. Give black some corner territory and take another section of the board and keep the game peaceful. Let's see how Kato responds to that. He pushed, and he pushed, and he pushed, and he's made himself what looks to be the beginning of a moyo. Kato Masao does this a lot. This was kind of his counter to the counter. And what you guys need to pay attention to is this is already a fight. This is already the middle game. When black played 7 here, this knight's move, and white and black are getting into this argument over the line of the moyos that are being built. You cannot play away. To play away in this situation would to make yourself into just a juicy chunk of meat sitting there for someone to attack and eat. In white's case, if white plays over here, black of course curls around, and he's opening up this huge fan onto the board, right? So already we see that the pressures of the middle game are coming. This is the middle game, and neither player can play away here. Let's see how they keep on going. At this point, you can see clearly that this is a huge fight and that neither player can run away. Neither player has any kind of room here to play another opening point on the board. If they did, if at any point in this almost 20 move sequence, one of the players went, yeah, I'm just gonna play in a corner enclosure. Nah, you instantly go down in the rating, as the AI says. You can't play away here. All the players have to do is keep going back and forth, playing on key points and balancing out their groups. If either one plays away at any point from now on, that balance will be broken, and one of them will be shoved around the board to the other person's advantage. The second key point after is it big or is it small is, are you being attacked or are you attacking? If either of those cases are true, you're probably in the middle game and you need to keep fighting. Don't return to the opening. Because if you return to the opening, it's the same thing we saw in the Shusaku game. Yasui Sanchi played away, he went back to the opening, and that lost him all of the advantage. He started to get pushed around the board. So if you miss a big point and a fight starts, the game's not over, but don't play away from that fight again. And if, on the other side, if your opponent misses a big point and you start a fight, don't give up that advantage you have. Don't let your opponent off the hook so easy. And that's gonna lead us on to our next point is, when these kinds of things happen, when your opponent makes a mistake or you make a mistake, even if it's still in the middle game, you need to be able to judge who's ahead.
By the way, you can also watch these lessons on our platform, gomagic.org. Except there, you'll watch them with interactive quizzes right within the lessons and practical exercises right after them. And if you enjoy watching these Go videos and you don't want to miss others like this one, go smash that like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and this is Go Magic.